So, Elisa, I hear something very interesting happened with your family. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, when I was in a sophomore in high school, which is about 2005, my family got a letter say from the RIA, which is a Recording Industry Association of America, and they let us know that they saw that we had illegally downloaded music on our computer, and they were targeting about 9 songs. Ranging from Avril Lavigne to Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Eagles, and they said that they knew we had more music, but those were the songs they were going to focus on. After we got that letter, we never really heard a lot more about it. And a few months later, my mom called me, letting me know that one of her clients had seen an article in the newspaper saying that we were going to be sued. And so after that, um, we went online and we found out what was happening to us. And so then we were gearing up to settle. And what had happened was about 10 people from the Dallas Fort Worth area were selected at random and they were going to prosecute. So my family just happened to be lucky enough to be one of those people selected. And we were geared up to settle for a fairly large sum of money. And because there was just no way to fight them. They're such, a Goliath. They had so many resources, and they made it just almost impossible for anybody to go up against them. So, like the other 9 families in the area, we were geared up to settle, but earlier I had sent a message to a guy named MC Lars, who was an artist that I really, really liked, and he had a song out about downloading music and how ridiculous it had gotten with the RIAA and how, they were suing dead people, they were suing children, they were just out of control. And so I sent him a song telling him I really appreciated him, bringing light to the matter and thought that would be the end of it. Well, literally the day before my dad was going to have to go, the absolute deadline for settling, I got a message back from MC Lars saying that, he really connected with my story and really appreciated hearing about it, and that he was going to get in contact with his management company, and they were going to try to do what they could to support us if we chose to fight the RIA.
So, what artists supported your cause?
Well, the weird thing was that in that email I had included, some of the music that we were being prosecuted for, and MC Lars was under the same management company as Avril Lavigne. And that's why they were wanting to help us, because even her own company and herself was just outraged and appalled that this was happening. So I had the support of MC Lars and actually Avril Lavigne, who ironically was one of the artists I was being sued for.
How was the process of being sued?
It was extremely, extremely arduous. It was also really interesting though, because I'd never been through anything like that. We went to depositions, and we had a few other just meetings before we were gonna make it into court. What ended up happening is my father got dropped from the lawsuit, and myself and my 3 brothers were put on it, but eventually I too was dropped from it. And it was just they were so out for blood, and you could just tell it wasn't about the music, it wasn't about the artist, it was about money, and artists had already had plenty of it, and it was just it was appalling to see. And in the end, we didn't end up making it into court because they do just make it so impossibly difficult to go up against them.
So, before this lawsuit, what were your feelings on illegally downloading music?
Well, I honestly, personally, had never really gotten into it because when the time they were targeting was from when I was in junior high, and that was just never anything I was really into, but I definitely knew it was around, and all my friends were doing it, and I didn't really ever think twice about it. I mean, you heard it was illegal, but what were they going to do? You never heard about anything coming from that. You heard about Napster going down and stuff like that, but never people. And so it was just nothing that really ever crossed my mind too much.
What are your feelings on illegally downloading music now?
Well, I'll admit that it does have, negatives to it. It is technically stealing, and I'll give them that. But since the time that I've had going through this process, I've done a lot of research onto it, and to be quite honest, the record companies aren't being fully truthful, and it's not killing the music industry like they say it is. It actually helps a lot of artists, because where artists get a lot more money is people supporting them, people coming to their shows, buying merchandise directly from them. And without hearing a music, people wouldn't ever do that. So a lot of downloaders are college kids who, have a lot of time but not a lot of money, and they like to spend their time finding new music, and it's actually a good avenue for it. It turns out being, a really positive thing for artists who aren't mainstream yet, indie artists, and really not all that detrimental to the deep pockets of artists who already have success. So I have mixed feelings, but I really think it can be a very positive thing.
So I hear that this lawsuit really caused an uproar within the media world. Can you tell me a little about that?
Oh yeah, it was a whirlwind right after it happened. My lawyer, because I was a minor, was very protective over me and what I could and could not do. So it probably could have gone bigger, but we kept it pretty low key. But there were articles, MTV, Billboard magazine, everywhere. I had people popping up that I didn't know saying that they'd read about it, or people I hadn't talked to in a long time, others saying that they'd read about it, and there were discussion boards about me, and some people were saying I was a hero for going up against him, and other people, had really nasty comments calling me a thief and all this stuff, and it was just, kind of surreal being caught up in that. And actually, one of the coolest aspects was that a documentary contacted me, and my lawyer was a little iffy about it, but I did get to participate in it, and it mostly focuses on the mashup artist Girl Talk, but they followed me around for a weekend and just talked to me about my situation. In the end, it's about a couple seconds of my dad and a couple seconds of me, but the process of that was really cool, and the documentary turned out amazing. It's called RIP, Mixtape Manifesto, and I would definitely check it out because it gives you a lot of insight into just the whole illegal music culture, and it's very, very well done.
Any final thoughts?
Just be careful with whatever you do, because you never know where it's going to lead you. But, if you really, really believe in a cause, fight for it, because even though we didn't win the case, they have stopped suing individuals, last I heard, and so, we made progress. So go for what you believe in, and people will support you for that.